everybody. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm joined by an old grumpy wolf all the way over in Vegas today. Lennon, how you going, mate?
Hey, man, how you doing?
Yeah, good to have you on, mate. Really appreciate it. You coming out in your daytime to come and join us in our Splatter Natter.
Yeah.
To entertain us, mate, with some good chatter about Oldhammer and painting and about what you do over there and everything else in between, mate. So thanks again, Lennon, for accepting our invite.
Oh, not a problem. I wanted to ask before the show started. I apologize. Is my audio loud enough?
Oh, perfect, mate. Yeah, you're coming through loud and clear.
I'm used to using OBS. There's no view meter in here, so I can't see the actual audio level coming out of my mic.
Yeah. OBS. I've tried OBS. It's a little bit too technical, so I think StreamYard is kind of like, my kind of level of it's just easier. Just click it on and it goes, and it's nice.
If you want help with OBS, I can probably help you out with a few questions. It took me a minute to figure out how to add people to the to the podcast for recording, but like once you get the hang of it, it's just like copy paste, done.
Yeah, no, it's a really good thing. I've used it for live streams for playing Warhammer before, doing live stream Warhammer through Discord and through OBS. Yeah, it was good. It's a really good system. If you want to do it like in a 1080p high def and not paying a sort of subscription, not like this. It's really good. But for this one, it has like a nice chat system, so I can interact and see all the chat and bring them up on the screen and everything like that. So that's really nice.
A good buddy of mine that I did he was on my show, the Dork Depot. He he made me thankful that I haven't loaded the update yet. I guess there was a major update that came out a couple months ago. And he's like, yeah, they moved things around and kind of screwed things up. He's like, I had to redo a bunch of stuff. And I was like, yep, that's why I didn't hit that update button.
Yeah.
You kind of find something that works and you just don't touch it.
Yep. I think we've all been there, mate, with any kind of technology. As soon as they update it and screw around with it, they sort of ruin it.
It's like you find a good solid version of Photoshop and Illustrator now. If you use Adobe software, you find a good solid version of it that works on your computer. You don't upgrade for like 5. Even Adobe says don't upgrade once you find something that works. Like leave it for a couple of years.
That's it. It's good advice, mate. Good advice.
I asked you before we started the show. How did you wind up in Japan?
Good question. And I guess it was a couple of things. One was that my sister really got me into Japan. I think I was having a bit of a tough time in Australia. I was kind of just getting frustrated. I think as people, when they get to around 30 or so, or 35, they get sort of frustrated with life, their job and everything like that. Everything's kind of the same. I needed a change. So my sister got me into Japan, and she had this Lonely Planet Tokyo book. And I kind of liked anime, but not really into it so much. I like Ghost in the Shell and some other stuff that friends introduced me to, like Berserk and a few other like classic anime kind of shows. And funnily enough, I was already introduced into Japan when I was a kid because I did a lot of judo. Because judo was really popular during the 70s and 80s. And so I, unknowingly, I was kind of introduced into Japanese culture through, a dojo and a sensei and all that kind of stuff without him knowing it, And my sister got me into Japan. Now, I always loved playing PlayStation and all the games. I loved football, like the Pro Evolution Soccer series, and I played like Metal Gear Solid, and I was like Final Fantasy, So I was kind of like, again, without knowing it, sort of introduced into Japanese kind of culture in a way, pop culture. Yeah. And so I thought, why not? I'll go and have a look. I sort of read up about Japan a little bit, and I thought, it sounds like a really interesting place. So I came to Tokyo, and I was just like completely in love with it as soon as I came here. It's like, wow, this is so amazing, Yeah. It was so different. It's just like an alien world that you get transported into. And I had this sort of bug about coming back every few months. I'd pick up a cheap plane ticket, come over for a few days, like 5 or 6 days, whatever I could afford, and go back again. And then, got interested in Japanese women and learning the language and doing a lot of kind of at that time it was kind of you find like people online like men or women you could chat to and exchange like do like a cultural exchange kind of thing, and met some really nice people, and then eventually met now my wife, and I had the decision of whether we're going to go live in Australia or live in Japan. And of course, my wife would love to live in Australia because I live on the Gold Coast, which is like a touristic town full of beaches and surfing. And my wife's a surfer, so she would have loved that. But I thought, I've already lived there for so long. I want to come and do something different. I want to live in Japan. So I chose Japan. And I think I made the right decision. I think it was kind of difficult at the beginning, like the transition, the change of being an Australian, living in Australian society, and coming to Japan and sort of adjusting into that. It took a long time for me to adjust.
Do you have with the U.S., like when you live here basically and become a citizen, you have to get rid of your citizenship from what country you came from. But like with Australia, are you allowed to have dual citizenship with Japan and Australia?
Yeah, I don't have to give up my Australian citizenship. I can't, I don't even, I mean, it's probably better to keep hold of it in a sense, because, but you can become a permanent resident here, which gives you basically, it doesn't make you a citizen, but it allows you to stay in the country permanently, which I'll be applying for this year because I've now become a veteran. I think I've been here for 12 years, so it's time to apply for that. This year, and hopefully pray to the immigration gods that they allow me to stay here full time. And because this is basically my home, I don't see myself ever going back to live in Australia now. So,
there's an episode of Abroad in Japan where Chris goes to get a driver's license, and he's like, "Here's the easiest thing in the world. They ask you like 3 questions and give you your driver's license."
In Japan?
Yeah.
Really? Okay, wow, it's really difficult to get a driver's license here.
Like even if you have one from the country?
Well, it depends which country you're coming from. Now, if he was from the US,
he's from the UK.
Okay, for the UK it's okay because like me in Australia too, it was like basically just an exchange. It took most of the day to do it, but it was basically just pay me some money and you get your license and you're okay because the driving rules are the same. Now, if you're from the US, you've got to go through the entire thing. You go through all the lessons and do the test and everything. With the test is kind of grueling as well. Yeah, so I've heard really bad things about it. When I first came here, thinking, "Oh my god, this is going to be terrible. I'm not going to get my license at all." But then when I got there, it's like, "Oh yeah, okay, you're from Australia. That's no problem. We'll just swap over your license, and that's it."
Is it? Do you think it's because like in Australia, UK, and Japan, you guys are right-hand drive?
Yeah, that's it. That's okay. the reason why. Yeah. And the poor old people from the US have to do the entire thing, the whole test. So
yeah, I've driven a couple of right-hand drive cars here in the US. Some friends like imported like 180s and Sylvias and stuff like that, and it's different, like driving right-hand drive in a left-hand drive country. And the crap thing about it is I've been driving S13s for 23 years now, and getting in a right-hand drive S13 is just the most foreign thing because I can't sit in my comfy position.
Right.
You drive the same car for so long, you've got your position you like to sit in, you know exactly how you're going to sit, and then you get in the steering wheel is on the opposite side, and you're like, okay, I can't do this. Yeah. So what's the Warhammer scene like in Japan?
Well, if you can find it, you got to go out and basically do the hard yards and try to find people that are interested in the Warhammer scene. It depends what kind of Warhammer scene that is. It's like the new Warhammer scene, the old Warhammer scene. So
I was just referencing like in general, kind of.
Yeah, it's basically you need to use like social media groups in order to find other expats here, to find out where people are playing, where they're hanging out, and all that kind of stuff. So I'm still finding groups. Do
they actually have Warhammer stores over there?
They do have Warhammer stores in Tokyo.
Okay, that's kind of why I figured if anywhere it'd be there.
Yeah, they've got a Warhammer cafe here as well, which is basically kind of their flagship store now.
Yeah,
which carries like everything. You can even pick up the Rogue Trader and Realms of Chaos books here as well, like from the UK.
Is it Bugman's Chaya?
Yeah, basically. Yeah, back in Australia. Yeah, you can even get all the made-to-order stuff here as well, apparently. I think you
Oh,
can get
nice.
those as here as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Just I've never really heard anything about like Warhammer's presence over Games Workshop presence over in Japan, like that. I when I was at LVO, there's a group. The group that puts on LVO is called Frontline Gaming, and they have like a giant booth they set up there, and they go through and actually buy up like tons of new old stock. Like it can be like old hammer, middle hammer, new hammer. They just buy up tons of like old stock and sell it at a discount. So I walked out of LVO with like $400 worth of stuff for like $180, which was cool.
wow.
But
That's awesome.
one of the models I got was a Blood Angels Space Marine hero. And I guess it was like a Japanese exclusive or something, because like it had English text in the box, but it was both English and Japanese all over the box.
Right. Okay.
Actually, still got the hang on. I still got the.
Yeah.
Where is
I'll be
it?
curious to see what that looks
kept
like.
this. I kept the little sliver package from the front. There it is. Yeah, it was.
Right. Gotcha. Because that's a Japanese exclusive. That one there. Yep.
Yeah, I used the one with the. I used the helmet head instead of the non-helmet head.
Right. Yeah, I remember that. I remember that craze when it came out. Yeah.
Yeah, everything's in. Oh yeah, look.
Yep.
Like English and kanji.
Katakana. Yep.
Oh, that's katakana.
Yeah. Some katakana kanji. Yeah, but yeah, I know that craze was out, and everyone wanted them, and everyone was trying to find people in Japan to buy them, and then they could send them back over to other countries and stuff like that. So,
dude, I got it for $10.
Wow. Okay, you did really well.
Yeah. It was a push fit model, unfortunately. So I opened up all the holes for the pegs so it actually fit together right.
Nice. Okay, mate. That's good. Yeah. Okay, that's good, mate. Yeah.
Kind of neat.
Warhammer in Japan's been here since the 90s. So 95, 96 when they started opening their own branches here. Mm-hmm. And that's back in the the red era, so when 5th edition came out, they made a Japanese version of it. So they were advertising in the Australian White Dwarf magazine for people to work in Asia, in Japan, exclusively, who could speak Japanese and all that kind of thing. So yeah, they had it open for a long time, and then they closed them again. They closed everything. They shut everything down.
Oh, bollocks.
During some big transition in the company, and then they reopened them up into these Warhammer stores. So, yeah,
it's still weird, like not calling it Games Workshop, like going to the GW store. I'm going to the Warhammer store, or I'm going to Warhammer. It just doesn't sound right for those of us who grew up in the 90s. It's like, ugh.
Yeah, exactly, mate. Exactly. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah,
I was fortunate enough. When I went to, my mom's British, so we the only time I've been over there was like 15, and my aunt worked at one of the corporate offices for HMV, which happened to be on Oxford Street, about 2 buildings down from the major HMV on Oxford. Plus, there was a mall, like a small little mall in between HMV and her office buildings, which had a Games Workshop upstairs, and it was like entering Graceland. It was freaking awesome. But going in there as like a 15-year-old kid, they actually had the full-size Blood Angel Space Marine Mark 7 armor, like the big display one.
Right. Yeah.
And I just kind of staring at it like, oh. And one of the guys in the store I was talking to him about, he's like, oh, we hate that thing. People keep bumping into the flamer arm and knocking the hand off. It's like duct tape on.
Yeah, I actually worked in that store. I worked in that store in 95.
Oh, really?
I worked in the Oxford Street store, in London. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, we might have met, mate, back in those days. I don't know how old you were then, or how old I was.
15.
About 20. I was 20, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 20, 21.
Yeah, it was summer of 97.
I was long gone then, mate. I was back in Australia by then. But,
okay.
Yeah. There you go, mate. You went to the Mecca, because that was basically that store was their flagship store of the UK. That was
really?
Store. Yeah, that was the big one. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's where
it wasn't a huge store, but it was really neat to be in there.
Yeah, if you when we worked in the summer, we had like people come from France, Belgium, Germany, you name it. They came from everywhere, and basically they would buy up like just hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pounds worth of models, and they'll get like a big bin liner, a big black bin liner, and they'll bust open all the miniatures, dump them into a bag, right? So you'd have like this massive bin bag full of lead, and they'll put it back into, and they'll just take it back to their country just to save on weight, take all the plastic packaging out. Yeah, it was madness, mate. It was just nuts. So they had basically guys come over, and they had like several orders from all their mates, and they would buy everything up and then go back. Yeah. So yeah, I remember those days.
I want to try something. I want to see if I can mirror my display to my desk. Hang on a minute.
Okay, mate. Yeah, you go for it. That's all right. While you do that, I'm just going to go through the chat here because we've got a few people who joined us. So Sci-Fi has come in, and how you going, mate? It's good. You're an absolute regular and a champion of our live streams here. We've got Johnny Watson as well. How you going, mate? Why aren't you here with us? And Blintron, how you going, mate? Nice to see you here. What else we got here? Matt. Hey, Matt. How you going, mate? Good to see those goblins are coming along. I had a good look at those in the patron paint chat. That was good. Grab that book for you, Josh. Off my friend, send off with other stuff too. Okay, well, thank you, mate. That's really kind of you. I really appreciate that. That'd be really nice to look through that.
Oh, I saw Matt's Gobos on Instagram.
Oh, right. I didn't know that Matt had an Instagram.
I think it was his.
Okay. Matt, do you have an Instagram? I didn't even know that, mate. Maybe I'm already part of your Instagram. I don't know. I can't remember. I've got so many people I'm following now. It's just crazy. So just let me know if you do. And no Insta. Okay. I didn't think so.
Oh, well, hey. Facebook.
Right. Must be maybe Facebook. Just it's only on my Patreon. That's it. Just on Patreon. Padre, Big Small World. How you going, mate? A lot of people have said they enjoyed your interview, and now everybody can access that on the podcast. So please enjoy that, everyone, and listen to Padre's story about his wonderful 8th edition campaign he's been running for a decade or so with his friends. Emperor Jim, mate, I'm back. I'm painting epic, mate. All the hazard stripes on these Terminator Land Raiders I'm doing at the moment. So you're in good company here, my friend. Just back from a run, about to eat a choc ice and paint some epic. Good to hear, mate. Good to hear. I'm determined to finish off these Blood Angels, mate, and the Eldar. I've got my White Dwarf magazine here, covering all the Blood Angels. That's the army I'm going for. This one here.
Yeah, that sucks.
So I've now got the Titan. Warlord Titan. Let's start on that probably tonight.
Oh boy!
I just needed some good reference pictures. So yeah, that's a really nice reference picture of that Titan here, if you can see it.
Ooh, that's an old one.
So we'll get cracking onto that in a moment. But thank you everybody who's joined us in the chat, and please. Ask Lennon a question at all. We're going to go through his social networking sites in just a moment as well. I'm going to share those and check out what he's been doing, what he does, and give him a bit of a shout out. So let me just share my screen here while Lennon's doing that. So I'm just going to share your YouTube channel, mate.
Oh, thank you.
Old Grumpy Wolf. Here we go. I left a link in the video description, so you can go down there and click on that to access his YouTube channel straight away. But Lennon does these great interviews with painters and hobbyists around the world, and he's interviewed 80 as well. 80 Wood. That'll be coming out at some point in the future. But
and Tim Prow.
And Tim Prow as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
80's episode. I think both 80 and Tim's episodes are coming out in July.
In July, right? Okay, so you've got to wait a little bit longer, but until then, you've got 6 great interviews to catch up on, and yeah, they go from
episodes. Is that 5 or 6? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have episode 6 comes out on Tuesday.
Oh, good. Okay, so another one coming out. So there you go. Some great interviews there with various different painters, and I've enjoyed those so far. So they've been really good. And I'm going to also, I don't know if it's going to do that. Is it going to stop doing that? I was going to stop sharing this one.
For the time being, I'm going to go sit at my regular desk.
Yeah, sure, mate. That's fine. No problem.
Until we actually get into paint stuff.
Yeah, I'll be painting in just a sec. I was going to show your Instagram. And
get on there.
Here. Okay, so this is Lennon's Old Grumpy Wolf Instagram page, where you can check out his awesome painting. These are the blood angels, which featured on the thumbnail of this Splatter Natter today. So done in really old school style, which is really nice on this wonderful display base.
Oh, there we go.
Okay, so you can check out his Insta and check out his Olden Demon entry as well. We'll have a look at that in a minute. Logan Grimnar.
Yeah, that for some odd reason that one just like that blew up. I didn't think it would receive the attention it did, but it just exploded, and like even Darren Latham shared it. I was sitting here doing some freelance work, and I got up and I took a shower and I came back to my desk. I hadn't checked my phone in an hour or so after I posted that, and all of a sudden my phone just starts going like crazy. And I was like, what the hell's going on? I look at my phone and it's like 16 different DMs from people like, dude, Darren Latham just shared your stuff. I was like, whoa.
Well, that's really nice. That's a great honor, isn't it? Yeah, fantastic.
Oh, man. And I hate that miniature.
Yeah. Oh, you did share your frustrations with him. So
yeah, he's just a really poor sculpt. That was not Jess Goodwin.
No, I wonder who did it then.
Don't know. Eavy and I were talking about it. He's like, yeah, I don't think Jess sculpted this.
Maybe.
But he'd been sitting. I started painting him in like 2002, and I never finished him. And like I have some photos I can send you what he used to look like, but it was pretty rough. And I decided for Olden Demon I'd go full ham and just strip him down and actually repaint him and do him proper like. But that new Grimnar is so cool looking.
Yeah. I suppose compared to this one, yeah.
I just love like they did him perfect because like for me with like the Wolf Lords and stuff, I don't like how action sequence they look now. Like you got Ragnar Blackmane jumping off a rock, and to me it looks silly. I like what they did with Grimnar because he's just standing there like, come get some.
Yeah.
Oh, that was my painting tutorial, Blood Angel.
Ah, that's the first video you did, mate. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah. This week I'm going to start filming the Space Wolves tutorial.
Cool. Okay. So if you want painting tutorials, you can go to Lennon's YouTube page, that we just showed before, and access those. You can already access this one here, which is the Blood Angel tutorial. Excellent.
Thanks. And he's one of my Unicorn Mark 7s. He's an RTB-15.
This is a really nice one too. I like the sculpt and the paint job. I love the that kind of Celtic kind of interwoven freehand in here. That looks very nice.
That's in the plastic.
Oh really? Okay.
Yeah, where the Celtic pattern goes, like it actually doesn't overlap like that. I just painted in the overlap.
Sure.
Yeah, I did him.
They do a lot to help painters now, don't they?
I painted him for what's it called? There's a Facebook group called Firstborn Space Marines, and they have a competition, I think in August, for like just paint up a Firstborn Space Marine. And because I did some freelance work for them, I wasn't allowed to actually place, because if people had found out that I did freelance work and then I placed, it could be considered favoritism. So I ended up asking. January came around for LVO and here in Vegas, and I was trying to figure out what I wanted to enter for the painting competition, and I asked a load of people on Instagram. They're like, either your Grimnar or the Olden Demon Terminator that you did. So I picked him, and that particular plinth. The plinth that Grimnar is on was his original plinth. And then I found out it was actually too big for the competition. So 3 days before LVO, I had to scratch build a plinth out of balsa wood, and that's the plinth he's on. But At least with this one, the face of it's magnetized. So that old Grumpy Wolf thing that's on there is just, it's a magnetized plate. It's a piece of wood with magnets in it, and it just clips on. Because I wasn't sure if I could enter him with the plate on or not. I walk up to the entry booth at LVO. Is like, hey, I want to enter this, but can I enter it like this with the plate on it? And the guy just stared. He's like, I've never seen that before. That's a really good idea. He's like, hey, Bill, come here. Yeah, can he enter it like this? Whoa, no one's ever done that. That's cool. We ain't got no rules for it this year, so go ahead.
Yeah, it's a great idea, mate.
Yeah,
excellent.
So I've got I think I'm going to build. I'm debating on that orc that I'm painting for Olden Demo. I'm debating on making him a little plinth that looks like a football field.
Oh, cool. Oh, yeah, I really like those images you shared with me. Of that guy. I won't disclose any more information. I'll keep that secret until you release it. But,
I posted him on a story, so he's public knowledge.
Oh, cool. Okay,
that was actually a 3D print. That was the first 3D print I ever painted.
Oh, right. Okay.
There was a fellow on one of the Oldhammer groups on Facebook, and he scanned in a bunch of old Rogue Trader stuff, and I think I bought I sent him like $45-50, and he sent me a bunch of things he scanned in. The Saturnine Terminator, he sent me 2 of those because I had 2 in metal. I just didn't feel like stripping them.
Gotcha. Yeah. No, you came in nice, man.
He's a little cramped to paint. Like around his bolster. It's really hard to hit certain areas with a brush. Yeah.
But they certainly did it in the original style of that model. That's very cool. Oh, cool. I like this one. That's a good Oldhammer model.
That was for Darren Latham's Glow Up Challenge. I actually got a commended entry for that.
Excellent, mate.
So if you go to the next picture, it's the one I painted when I was 15.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Okay. Amazing. Did you buy this from the Oxford Street store?
I think I just bought them in a blister from some. I had 2 of them. I think I just bought them here in town. Unfortunately, I lost both of his banner poles, which really irked me.
Yeah, that's a shame.
Because I did make a banner for the one I painted when I was 15. I copied the one from Rogue Trader era. But it's really neat. Like when you hang on to your miniatures, for a long time, like when you were painting in the 90s when you were a kid or something like that, and then going through much later in life, if you get back into it and start really pushing your skill set and get better, like to go back and do like a glow up and to just see how far you've come. There's always like such a drastic change. And for me, like when I was a kid, I'd always focus on like 1 or 2 major things in the model and then just kind of slough off for the rest of it and kind of rush through it. So it's nice that my skill set now is like I don't rush through anything. Yeah,
no, that's good, mate. That's a good way to do it. Good philosophy there. Because the more time you put into something, the better the results.
My Mentor Legion.
Strike Force Mark 7 Mentor Legion. Yeah, nice.
I don't like the new Mentor Legion, the Griffin style badge, and I always liked the Rogue Trader one, but I didn't like how the Rogue Trader era badge was orange and yellow. It didn't fit their armor, so I just I kind of updated it, streamlined it, and did it in greens from the armor.
Cool.
Yeah, the story behind him is growing up, one of my painting teachers, a guy by the name of Charles, he painted up a squad of 5 of these guys and stuck them in the display case at the hobby store that I used to frequent. And the way he did his white was exactly like you see on there. The white balance on this photo is off a little bit, but I spent years and years and years and years and years trying to figure out how he did his whites the way he did it. And he tells me, I bumped into him. He's like, oh yeah, I painted those up in an evening. I'm like, are you serious? But when I was getting back into painting in 24, I was trying to find a white that worked like 3rd gen Citadel paint white did, which was a matte white. And I happened on Pro Acryl titanium white, and it worked exactly like I wanted it to. And I was able to actually recreate the faded green style that he did. So, and the Primaris that's like 2 models down was a color test, and then I decided to do RTB 15 and RTB 01. Yeah, that was the it might work.
Yeah, no, that's really nice too, mate.
Thanks.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, so that's a Pro Acryl white you're using, is it?
Yeah, I use 2 different whites. I use Pro Acryl white and I use Vallejo white.
Yeah.
They kind of have 2 different applications.
Yeah.
But it's really cool that like I dig now so much how we have such a broad range of paint lines.
Yeah.
And every paint line has its own behaviors that like there's no one god tier paint line. The behaviors of the paints, they all act different. You can do different things with different paint lines, and it's just really cool that we have such variety now versus like when we were growing up in the 90s, you know, you had Citadel and maybe Vallejo in small amounts. And that was my Olden Demon entry from last year.
Oh, nice, mate.
Yeah. He's how I discovered Pro Acryl.
Right. Okay.
And that was the one and only time, that's the last time I'll ever use Citadel Fenrisian Gray.
Because of the is it just because of the paint itself?
Yeah, well, I don't like a lot of Citadel's current layer paints. They're really difficult to work with. So like he's a combination of Vallejo and Citadel. That was my original formula for painting Blood Angels, and then I changed over to using Pro Acryls, Pyro Red, and Orange. Right.
Yeah, actually, talking about Blood Angels, I've started using the TT Combat paints, which are really nice as well. And they've got a really nice set of triad colors for doing Blood Angel armor. And and they work really well too. But I really like, how this game, I love this miniature, and the paint scheme looks very nice. I painted a couple of those recently, actually.
Oh, painting the text on his legs was, that was a pain.
Repent, blood. Yeah, that's cool, man. That's nice.
That was good. The blood was the hardest to paint because his leg is at an inward angle.
Yeah.
And
you basically need to paint it before you put on the base, kind of.
Yeah, well, with him on the Slotta base, it just makes getting the brush to that one script, the scroll, really hard.
Yeah,
I got yelled at for this.
Oh, really? Why's that?
I posted him on Reddit, and a bunch of people chimed in. They're like, "An Inquisitor can't be a Blood Angel," and then fortunately, some Oldhammer guys jumped in and said, "Technically, they can, because back in the Rogue Shredder era, when this model came out, there was no rules that chapters couldn't have their own Inquisitors."
Well, the front cover for Inquisitor, which I think Fangorn painted, is Draco, and he's in red armor.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. You can just say that. Doesn't matter if he's got like Sanguinius and the Blood Angel mark. I don't think, or Sanguine. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. So yeah.
And that was the first time I painted. That was the first time I painted text on a model since when I was a teenager.
Oh wow, nice. Yeah, no, he's very, very clean, very nice style you got there, mate. I think it really suits the era as well. He looks very nice too. I'll get to that captain in a minute. I really like that guy. Now, Lennon, how do you do your yellows, mate? For people who are curious,
yellow it's I base coat. It was a little different back then, but the way I do it now, and for anybody who wants to see it, it's actually in that Blood Angel tutorial video. But I'll base coat or I'll undercoat it in Pro Acryl, bright ivory, and then thin down. What's it called? The Citadel. I can't think of the color. Hang on. There we go. I'll thin down Citadel Aerial Yellow and apply like 2 or 3 really thin coats of that. I'll go for the orange black lining. I'll go through and thin down a Citadel. It's a Citadel orange contrast paint. I forgot the name of it. Paint that into the areas, like the chest eagle or the recesses in the guns or the fingers. I'll go back through with after everything's orange lined. I'll clean up all the spillage with bright ivory again, recoat in Aerial Yellow, and then just highlight up by mixing in bright ivory to Aerial Yellow until it's pure bright ivory.
Right. Okay.
I was still using I was still using Vallejo white with this to highlight the yellows with.
That's a good point. Yeah, using ivory is a really nice highlighting color, and it's a great alternative just to give more of a subtle finish than white, because white can be
Yeah.
quite stark in places,
Well, it works well with yellow, the bright ivory, and you can also substitute it out with there's another color called ice yellow.
Right.
Vallejo makes it, Army Care makes it, and AK makes it. But because it's got yellow in it, it's got warmth to it. It helps keep the warmth of yellow instead of going with like a pure cold white, which actually kind of dulls out the yellow.
And
You're talking about
this is right up my alley, mate. This is right up my alley. This is it. Yeah. So got my Epic itch on at the moment, painting Epic, and yeah, this is a great example of some really nice, very old miniatures painted very beautifully and in very high detail, especially that rhino and the actual space walls down the bottom there. That's amazing. You got better eyes than I have, mate. That's for sure. So,
I was still adjusting. I was still getting my eyesight back when I did this one.
Yeah,
like I found with like epic scale Marines, if you want to paint them like that, it's not dry brushing, but you base coat it. Like I base coated them in Prussian blue. It's the same blue that's used throughout the Titan.
Nice.
And then you really just allow the brush. You put like your normal your armor color on there, like the mid-tone, and you just kind of run the brush over the model almost like you're dry brushing it, but you've got a lot of paint, and you're just letting literally the brush just do the work to pick up the armor panels. And if you spill into a crevice, it's a lot easier. It's not that bad to go back and correct, but you've got to let the texture of the model pull the paint off the brush. It's not like painting a regular size Space Marine where it's nice and big. This is like
yeah. No, it came out really nice, mate.
Thanks. I had to buy 3 other Titans to get those weapons.
Oh, okay.
So I've got 3 bare plastic Titans floating around. I've been debating on painting up.
Yeah, do it, mate. Yeah, do it in different Legion colors. That'd be really nice to see. I was going to say my dark Prussian blue and Prussian blue are my favorite blues of all time from Vallejo Model Color. I
was trying to find, like, Citadel released a Prussian blue. It was that Mentor Legion, the Primaris.
Oh, mate. Primaris.
That Ultramarine right there became that Primaris, the Mentor Primaris Marine. That was like a in-store paint your first model thing I did.
Right. Okay.
And working with base colors is not fun.
Yeah.
Because in the paint your first model thing, they only give you base colors, and I think the only layer color they give you is whatever black is called now. And I did that back in 2006.
Right. Because I'm going to say this is a bit of a conversion. You got like the wolf pelt here.
Yeah.
In the front. Yeah.
I did. I shaved off all of his scrolls and stuff like that with a Dremel, and then had to rebuild his legs with green stuff and the wolf pelt's green stuff. He has a wolf tail on a chain in the back of him too that's made out of green stuff. And I want to buy another one of these and just paint it the way it is. This was such a badass model.
Yeah. This goes back to that's back in the 90s when this was released. This was mid 2000s.
Oh,
was it really?
Yeah, and they still haven't made a Terminator chaplain that looks better than him. I like the new one is like it's mostly okay, but it's not this one. He just looks like I'm gonna hit you in the head with my Crozius.
Yeah, exactly. He ain't mucking around, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's the Instagram page. People can go check it out as well. The link is in the video description. You can check out Lyndon's work, and give him some likes and love hearts and comments.
Scroll down a little bit. There's a little frog pope guy I wanted to mention something about.
Oh, this guy, yeah.
Yeah. Right. So you were talking about using ivory or like a pale yellow to highlight with. All of his highlights, every single, I think I did it with red too. Every highlight on here, it was brought up with ivory.
Right.
So like even the blues on his face, that was highlighted up with bright ivory. And it's kind of hard to see in the photos, but if you see it in person, he has, like you mentioned, he's got a very warm quality about him.
Yeah, the ivory does bring a nice subtlety and warmth to him, to the colors, I think as well. And it's a good tip for people who want to alternate to white. and to remove the starch, if you like, of white.
Yeah.
You've got ivory, really good complement color to highlight things up with. But that's a really nice miniature, that actually, isn't it?
I had her, the gal that sculpted him. Her name's Ray. She runs a miniatures brand called Build-A-Lore Studios, and I had her on my show 2 weeks ago, and absolutely great gal. She's insanely creative, really, really talented. She does a lot of fantasy-based miniatures. They're all animals, and I'm going to be working with her a little bit to paint up some models for her website and for her to show at different shows themselves.
Right.
And he's tiny. You can get him in a variety of sizes, but that one is only like 18 millimeters.
Okay, so this is all 3D printed stuff, is it? Is that right?
Yeah.
Right.
And the neat thing is, like, we were talking, it was a really cool episode because it was really nice to talk to somebody who sculpts with modern day software, and she actually sculpts almost all of her stuff in VR.
Okay, I don't know what that is.
like an Oculus, like a VR helmet.
Oh, really? Like
Yeah,
VR.
Yeah,
Wow,
VR,
okay.
VR. Yeah.
Wow. Jeez.
Yeah, she does it all in VR, and she'll do some cleanup on her iPad, but the majority of what she does is she uses her Oculus to do it.
Wow. Okay, I didn't realize you could actually do something like that. So that's
Yeah, neither did I.
Bloody hell.
I think,
She's
like,
very talented.
I like the idea of it, that you have it, in real space right in your eyeballs. But I think what would throw me off is not having gloves where I could feel what I'm sculpting in my hands, like a piece of clay.
Yes.
Because you have to use the joystick thingies.
Concept. Yeah. That's really interesting. I'd like to see, like, if she ever does a video of that, I'd like to see just how that actually works. I mean, I think a lot of people will be just curious, if anything, to see that.
Yeah, I'll ask her if she can do screen capture for that.
Yeah, because I've seen another guy, Marco, who is Brauniac. He does all those Chaos Dwarf sculpts and stuff. On our Discord, he will show us when he's on there. He'll show us how he does his sculpting and stuff like that, and his programs he uses.
Oh, that's cool.
Which is interesting. Yeah, it's just an interesting way because you never really get to see all that, So it is. Yeah, it has been eye-opening to see how those guys do it and how he actually paints them in like this virtual thing, like with computers and stuff. All these models, they look really, really nice, and they're so convincing that people actually think they're actually painted physical copies with their art. They're all digitally done. So it's it's interesting to see how that's sort of merging in with our hobby and how it's all sort of back in that kind of red era.
Yeah,
but done in 2025. So it's really interesting.
It was really neat to talk when I was talking to Ray. It was actually really cool. Like, both her and I really kind of agreed that, like, and Tim Prow and I were talking about his sculpting as well. He still does it traditionally with, like, green stuff and putty, but we were discussing how there is a lot of really cool stuff that people sculpt in 3D and for 3D prints, but the biggest difference between a lot of 3D artists and, like, Games Workshop, and this is where I'll give Games Workshop a lot of credit, and even Louise was talking about it in her show on Rogue Hobbies, is, like, the depth, the solidity and the depth of the detail that Games Workshop gets into their models versus a lot of 3D artists who don't understand that, you put all this detail in there, but you're going from something that's, like, really big on your monitor down to, like, 30 millimeters. That detail is going to get lost because of the resolution of the printer, and also because it's simply just not deep enough in the surface. And I've seen a lot of really cool 3D stuff, and, like, when they actually show the printed model, they have the nice render that's fully lit properly and all that, and you see all the details and what they've sculpted. But when they show the full 3D render or the actual printed model, a lot of it just gets lost because it's simply not embedded enough into the surface of the miniature. And one thing that Ray does with her miniatures, and the same thing Tim does, is that they both actually sculpt their own models. In Ray's case, she prints them. In Tim's case, he spin casts them, and then they both actually paint their models. So they're getting the experience of, like, okay, is this actually fun to paint? Did I miss something on this? Is this detail deep enough? Are people going to have a hard time with it? Like the Frog Pope, Ray's refined him like 3 or 4 times. So it's really neat to hear something that I've never done. Just hear the experience of two opposite sides of the spectrum for creating miniatures, but both say the same thing. The depth of the detail is important, and also that they have the experience of painting their own models, so they know like when to improve.
Yeah, that's true. I think that's a good point, actually, because you don't really get to see, or you get to hear people who design their miniatures and paint them at the same time.
Yeah.
It's usually that's a very separate thing, because usually people who sculpt miniatures don't ever paint them, or don't know how to paint them, so.
God, I think it's Jess Goodwin. It was Jess. It was one of the old sculptors from Games Workshop who was there for a while, but he's still painting to this day, and bloody hell is that guy good.
All right, I don't know who that might be, mate.
Sorry, I'm going through the comments. I always forget to do this because, like, when I have it full screen, it doesn't actually show any comments.
Yeah, I think one of the guys asked you a question too about your brushes. I think it's
I saw that. What brushes do I use? I just use a variety of stuff. My favorite go-to is Citadel small layer brush. Unfortunately, Citadel brushes have always been the same. You have to buy 4 or 5 of them to get 2 good ones. So right now I'm actually breaking in a new detail. It used to be called detail brushes back when we were young. Small layer brush, but I've actually gotten really into using some of the synthetics, which are really cool, like AKs and Monument Hobbies. There's one Monument Hobby brush that I bought. It's a synthetic. I use it all the time now for like larger stuff. People complain about the tips of synthetic brushes going curved. I actually kind of like the little curve at the tip of it. If you're like panel lining or something like that, it's kind of neat because it locks into the crevice.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, nice.
Just back from a run, about to eat chocolate ice cream and paint some.
Yeah, right. That's Emperor Jim. He's a really good painter. He does a lot of really good stuff for Epic.
Oh, nice.
Really nice, really inspirational stuff. Yeah, he's a big inspiration for me too. 45 plus years of painting, and what you're saying is a foreign language to me. I never went into the direction of full-on works of art like these. I just churned out R&F dozens at a time. Okay, mate. Yeah, I think you have to with your campaigns. You got to churn out a lot of stuff. So yeah, nice.
There's a Wigster 600 says, "Remember to drink your paint water, lads."
Yeah.
Mr. Wolf, question: do you ever use the competition winners in tabletop games? I don't actually play. I've played 2 games of 40K my entire life. I've played the crap out of Space Hulk because it was so easy to learn. But 40K, to me, like I just glaze over because of all the rules. It's really difficult for me to follow.
Yeah.
My good buddy Chris, the Door Depot that I interviewed, he's offered numerous times to teach me how to play, and I was like, I just want to sit here and paint with you guys.
Yeah. You're probably taking the better choice, mate, I'd say.
Yeah.
But I'd love to see your Blood Angel Terminators in a Space Hulk game. That'd be nice.
That was the whole reason I was painting them.
Right.
Because I sold off. When I was a teenager, I painted up like a whole Blood Angels army, and I had dozens of Terminators. And my best friend, who I grew up with painting, he's still one of my best friends in the whole world. He painted up. I gave him all the Gene Stealers to paint. He actually painted the most of them. So we actually had every time we played Space Hulk, every miniature was painted on the board. It was really cool.
Awesome.
I definitely run into those 3D printables, which could have done a few test prints and paint. Yeah, exactly. I totally agree with you. Kev Adams is a great painter as well as sculptor.
Yeah.
Lots of great. It might have been Kev Adams.
He's a legendary painter. Yeah. I mean, even back in the 80s, the stuff he was painting then was just amazing. Really, really incredible. We just covered that in a new series with Dr. Spork and myself, covering all the old Golden Demon books that were released by Citadel Miniatures back in the 80s. So you'll get to see those in a minute. Well, soon, anyway, on the channel. I'll release that next week.
Oh, wow. I just went to Kev Adams' profile on Instagram.
Yeah, he's a really talented guy, Kev. I call him the all-rounder because he can sculpt, he can paint, he can draw really well as well. So, yeah, he's an all-rounder.
Oh, this is cool. Yeah, he's still making stuff. He's still doing miniatures out of green stuff, too. This is really cool.
Oh yeah, Kev's been around for. He's never stopped, mate. He's just kept going. So
Yeah, I'm gonna add him. Let's see if I can find. I swear it was Jess Goodwin that I found.
Jez, to my knowledge, has never painted a miniature in his life.
Maybe it wasn't just. I don't know who it was. It was one of the sculptors from. It was one of the sculptors from Games Workshop I found on Instagram, and he's still painting. And I mean, dude is just still on point.
Right. Well,
So
you have to enlighten us to who that was, mate. I don't know. I'm not sure.
I am going to switch back to my painting desk and try to actually get something done.
Yeah, good idea. Good idea.
Yeah, I'll check I'll check the comments again here in a little bit when I take a break.
Okay. Sounds good, mate.
Where did I have this?
Painting some Kev Adams stuff right now. Good on you, Bleatron. Nice to hear, mate. And Sci-Fi says, Mr. Wolf Blood Bowl.
Now, speaking of Blood Bowl, I don't know if it's going to focus or not, but I posted. He's on my story on Instagram, but yeah, I'm doing an orc for fantasy for Olden Demon.
Yeah, that looks awesome, mate. Looks very nice. Oh god, these stripes are driving me nuts. Okay, what have I gone wrong here? I've gone wrong. Let's fix it.
Unfortunately, I did try to mirror my display to my desk, and that I bought a little 12-inch LCD panel to use as a monitor for when I do painting tutorials, so I can actually see what my phone's filming. And it won't mirror the display via USB. I'd have to plug it in through a DisplayPort. And I don't have an extension cable that long.
No, that's okay, mate. That's fine. You just as long as you're comfortable and you can paint and stuff, that's the main idea. And hopefully people who are in the chat are doing the same thing. Getting some paint on some miniatures. I'm going cross-eyed with these bloody hazard stripes on these Land Raiders. But that's okay. They're not. These paint jobs will not win any awards. I just want to get this stuff painted.
You're doing epic scale Land Raiders?
Yeah. I really want to get this Blood Angel army finished and done, so I can get it on the table and actually start playing with it. So I've got to make some compromises here and just not get too fixated on having them really top paint jobs.
Yeah,
just get them painted. So because Epic's kind of a game where I really enjoy playing the game, but often the painting is kind of reserved. Like the special stuff is reserved to Titans and larger stuff like vehicles and everything, and all the other stuff gets kind of just a couple of colors and a bit of highlighting here and there, and that's it. I'm happy.
Oh, Josh, do you still use do you actually use your brush caps?
Yeah, mate, I do. Yeah.
Here's a neat idea for you. I don't know if you can see that. Oh.
Yeah.
Paint the inside tip with a bright color, so that way when you drop it on your floor, you can see it in the carpet.
Oh, okay. That's a good idea, mate, because I often have them fall onto the floor and I'm looking around like an old man.
Yeah.
On my hands and knees trying to find the bloody things.
Yep.
So,
well, I was at paint night, I don't know, like 3 or 4 weeks ago. No, it was like 2 months ago, because that was before I started Grimnar, or when I was dug into Grimnar. But anyway, I dropped one of my brush caps on the floor, and I couldn't find it. It took me about 20 or 30 minutes to find it. Actually, ironically, I found it at the end of the night. But I was like, I got to do something about this. And I came home and I just dunked it in paint. And it was like, oh, this is a great idea. Because if you got white carpet, you drop one of those on the white carpet, it becomes part of the carpet.
Yep. It's like the Predator, mate. It's just it immerses itself within the or camouflages itself within the surroundings.
It's like dropping a purity seal on the carpet.
Yep.
It's like there shall it remain.
So what are you painting today, mate? You're painting your blood Blood Bowl orc.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna try and work on the actual skin. I've been learning how to use AK paints. They dry really fast. They're a lot different than like pro acryl.
Right.
So, and I've found that like you have to keep them heavily watered down, and apply it for like the way I highlight. I have to apply like really thin glazing layers.
Okay.
But kind of getting the hang of it. And my buddy of mine's like, "Well, why are you pushing yourself for that?" I was like, "Because they have a lot of really great colors. Like their color set's more akin to like 90s and 2000s old Citadel." And they actually make a perfect goblin green. It's called Alga Green.
Alga Green. Okay. I've heard a lot of good things about AK. So
Yeah.
I've got to try them out. Yeah.
They're a bit different. It takes a little while to get used to them, but they're actually pretty good paint.
Are they like a super matte finish, or are they like
they're all matte.
All matte. Okay.
But
Gotcha.
like I clear all my models, so I don't care about finish. But the finish of the paint will actually it affects the behavior of the way the paint goes down on top of it.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to be kind of careful, and you have to kind of figure out the behavior of it. That's weird. I'm not used to painting during the day.
I'm the opposite, mate. I'm always painting through the day.
Yeah, I usually start painting around like, I don't know, 6 o'clock at night.
Right. Yeah.
And then go until usually like 1 or 2 in the morning. Because old Grumpy Wolf likes to torture himself.
Yeah, that's some serious hours, mate.
When did you start this thing?
What, the Splatter Natter?
Yeah.
Gee, I don't know. Was it last year?
Oh, okay.
I can't remember now. Yeah, I can't remember. I'd have to go back and check, because we have done live. I did live streams before where I did like just a one-on-one with somebody, like an interview with somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And then I realized I'm not getting a lot of painting done, and I want to make sure that other people are getting painting done. So I thought, okay, we'll just turn it into a hobby chat kind of live stream. And that's when the Splatter Natters started, really. So I'm presuming they started late last year sometime, maybe.
Oh, okay. I think it's a really novel idea.
Yeah, well, I've got to say, I've got to take inspiration from other live streamers I watch, which is the Musty Wargamers show, which is like a fortnightly show where they do something very similar. They have got like just 4 guys out of the US, and they just sit there and paint and talk about hobby and stuff. So I thought,
that's cool.
That's a really good idea. I really enjoy painting along with them, and I thought that's a nice idea. And
I felt really honored you asked me to come on.
Yeah, mate. Like I said, like it's an open doorway. I like to promote people's channels and content if people don't know about them, because it is kind of hard to find out about things like that, and to meet people and everything like that. So it's like pretty much an open space where people come in and say hello and paint and chat with other people. So so now people know who you are and what you do and how to find you on social networking sites and stuff like that, and check out your interviews, because I like that as well, like listening to people's stories and how they got into the hobby, and I enjoy those.
Oh, and speaking of, if you I'm open in June if you want to come on.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, it's fine, mate. You just tell me when and where, and I'll be there. That's fine.
Yeah, I'd be honored to have you on the show. I think it'd be really cool. I heard some of your story, but I'd really like to actually make a video out of it and have other people listen to it. It's an interesting story how you wound up in Japan too. That's kind of neat.
Yeah, it's booze, beautiful women, and and what else? Not anime, because a lot of people think, oh, you're into anime. I'm not really into anime, anything like that. No,
I'm into Japanimation.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of people love the animation and stuff, which I can totally get. I mean, that's
Japanimation was what anime was called back in the 80s and 90s before they really named it anime, before that name caught on.
Yeah.
I grew up watching like Bubblegum Crisis, Project Echo, Run Mahalf, Urusei Yatsura, Maison Koku. God, what else did I get into? Kimigo Orange Road. All the good old shows.
Yeah, it's like the biggest export mate for Japan. That
Yeah.
it's a wonderful way to spread your culture through animation. It's really cool. So yeah, it's great. I'm a huge fan of Ghost in the Shell.
Oh, okay.
And I love that series. I think that's probably my favorite all time. And yeah, it's hard to go past that. I do like Miyazaki's, the Ghibli movies. I think they're beautifully done as well. So
yeah, my gal and her daughter are really, really into Studio Ghibli.
yeah, that's. I mean, I don't know how they're done now, but I know everything was all hand drawn and painted and everything. I've been to his museum in Tokyo, so that's really beautiful to see that up close, like his actual work. I'm like, wow. I mean,
I think now it's all digitally colored.
Yeah, that's a shame, but I can see why. But for time and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, if I watch anime, and I did watch something with my wife on TV, and it was a really cool one too. I said to her, I really like that because it's kind of like it was made back in the 80s, and it was about some dude who was like some kind of detective or something like that, some badass detective, and he had to go and rescue some girl from some like kingpin's hideout somewhere, and I couldn't understand anything because it's all in Japanese, of course, but I like the animation style and the fact that it was like made in the 80s, and it's got a certain feeling to it that I think a lot of this new stuff just doesn't have. There's a presence about the old stuff that's when it's hand drawn, it has a certain feeling that conveys to you that I think a lot of this new stuff just doesn't have. It's pretty soulless, I think.
So I've got a question. I forgot how to say it, so I had to translate it. But Nihongo o hanaseme masuka. I think do you speak Japanese?
Hanasamasuka?
Yeah.
Do you speak Japanese?
Yep. No, I guess you do.
A little bit. I mean, just survival stuff. Nothing. I feel really bad about that because I've been here for so long. And I said to my wife the other day, I said, okay, let's go to the community center because I want to find someone down there who's going to teach me Japanese, and I want to go there every week. So it's been a culmination of things. One, it's been just a lack of, finding that time, making that time to do it. And it's also been work and family life and all that kind of stuff that sort of interrupts everything. And I'm just, and it's funny because when I first came to Japan, I met someone during a training course thing. Then she was Filipino, and she'd been living here for 10 years, and she couldn't speak any Japanese. Yeah. And I was like, wow, I'm never going to be like that. That's terrible. I couldn't imagine how you could live in a country without knowing anything. And here I am 12 years later, and I'm kind of in the same boat. So you do get stuck in a sort of a bubble, if you like, where everything you listen to, everyone you talk to is in English. And when I worked in teaching, of course, everything's in English. All the staff speak English. So if I was placed in a position where I was forced to speak Japanese, which is the best thing to do, I think, if anybody comes to live in Japan or comes here for work experience or whatever, make sure you're in an area where you're forced to be speaking and learning Japanese.
I used to know a lot more Japanese. I've lost it because I don't speak it anymore. But like I had a lot of like clients and friends that were Japanese, so like my vocabulary got kind of decent. I could navigate a smallish conversation fairly well. But like I still remember kind of some of the basics. Like I was going to ask you before, Nihon wa doko desu ka?
Yeah, but it's a really nice language though. I do like Japanese, and I find it kind of when I watch my wife write something like a letter or something, it is a beautiful looking language too. I think it has something about it that that draws you into it, and it's nice because a lot of people do study Japanese. They've never been to Japan, but they have an interest in it, which I think is lovely. That they have that.
No, I've been fascinated with that culture since I discovered Japanimation when I was like 10.
Well, Leonard, you should go and make a trip over, mate. Because I think anybody who comes over there will love it. Yeah, yeah. I always recommend it because everybody who's come, even my parents, my sister's come now a couple of times.
Hmm.
Everybody who's come to Japan has always come away thinking this is the best trip I've ever had. Even old mate Dietz from Anvil of Doom came over with
Oh, nice.
his girl, and yeah, they loved it. Absolutely loved it. Oh, here we go. My old mate James, JVC Paints. He's going to force me to read some Japanese on the screen right now. He's been in Japan forever. He's been in Japan forever. He can speak Japanese very well.
Anvil of Doom. I really like that guy. He's a neat dude.
Yeah, Dietz is a great guy. Yeah, I got
Yeah.
to meet him and spend the half a day with him here, and yeah, it was brilliant. It was really, really nice. And he's got a lovely wife. They just got married. It was this honeymoon they were coming over for.
Oh, nice.
And my wife was here, so it was really nice to spend some time with them. And I said, next time you're over, mate, come in. You got to stay here for the night so we can play some games and talk some more, because it was kind of a rush, trip for them as well, because they had to do things and go places, which I can totally understand.
I really like his YouTube videos. Like, guys, he's a phenomenal painter.
Yeah. I've got to watch his latest video. He did a Blood Angel 2, which you're probably interested in too.
Oh, really? I didn't see that pop up. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, that's his Old and Demon entry. So you got to check that out, mate.
Oh, wait, no, I did see his Mephiston. That's right. I commented on it.
Yeah. So, yeah, great painter, really good community guy, and okay. So James asked. Now I'm going to try to read. I can read the first kanji. Nihon go. Benai no usojian. So this is why I should really study Japanese more, because I'm struggling to read even the hiragana here. You have to teach me Japanese, JVC. I need to get some kind of you need to get some kind of online school going for me, mate. You need to teach me Japanese. I would always make that compromise. If I can speak Japanese and not read it, then I'd be happy, because if I can just join in a conversation and obviously, just have any kind of conversation, survival kind of Japanese, I'd be really happy. But yeah, I need to get onto that. I do that every year. I said, I've got to learn Japanese more, and that's all. But I'm a dumbass, I'm now like 51. If you learn a language, please learn it when you're in your youth. I'm teaching my son English, so which is good. You got to learn when you're young. You don't speak Japanese? You're joking. Okay, Jordan. Yeah. Is it Jordan? Yeah.
I can't believe you're 51. Holy crap.
Yeah, time flies, mate. Flies.
I saw you on camera. I thought you were like the same age as me, like in your 40s.
Yeah, I wish I was. I wish I could transport myself back. I wish I came here much earlier. Like a lot of these guys that came in their 20s. I think that would have been perfect for me.
Yeah.
And then you can sort of adapt more, you can learn more, and yeah. So I basically immigrated from the Gold Coast to Ibaraki, and that's where I'd sort of stayed.
Did you ever get into the car culture over there?
No, never been a petrol head, mate. To be honest.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there's like I grew up. I was big into Japanese cars for a really long time, a good chunk of my life, and like I said before the show started, I got into 240 SXs over there. That's the 180 SX and the Sylvia, and playing a game called Tokyo Extreme Racer, which they just like made a new version of. That's all HD. It's friggin' awesome, but there's a parking area. I think it's over off Haneda. Way out, it's south. It's on the South Wangan. It's down by the airport, and it's like a kind of an icon of, or like kind of like a mecca icon of like car culture over there. Like on Fridays and Saturdays, like everybody kind of takes their cars out and just hangs out and parks in that parking lot. And the funny thing is, playing Tokyo Extreme Racer for so long, like I actually know a good chunk of the Wangan freeway system in Tokyo. Right. Like the C1 inner and outer, Haneda. I forgot the other area names, but yeah, it's like the current Tokyo Extreme Racer is it's like a 1-to-1 replica of the Wangan freeway system. It's all like freeway racing in the game.
Right. Okay. I'm just trying to think. Was it Dietz who did it? I can't remember, but they got some guy who's like a foreigner who basically gives people like drifting. He has like a drifting car, like set up for drifting, and then they just pay a certain amount of money, and they take him out on a drifting kind of tour of Tokyo or something like that.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I told my gal, I was like, we go to Japan, you got to bring a few $1,000 extra. She's like, why? I was like, because you're gonna have to bail me out of jail. I am gonna do something stupid with cars.
Jeez. Yeah. Yep. So.
Yeah, actually, I got pretty good at drifting for a while.
Yeah, in Australia, the Nissan Skyline is like the thing that every 18-year-old wants.
Yeah. Oh, the Skyline or the Silvia.
Silvia or Skyline, yeah.
Yeah, you guys lucked out, man. You actually got the S15 Silvia. That was the last version of the car made. I love those cars. They're just gorgeous.
Yeah, the guy I used to work with, American guy, Ken, he was massively into cars, and I think he's now turned that into a business for himself here. He drove I think he drove a Silvia.
Okay.
And he must have spent 50, 60 grand on just getting everything, like modified, and he rebuilt stuff, and he does all that kind of stuff now, because I think he quit teaching, and he does that as a job now.
Yeah, my S13 hatch, my current one over 15 years, I've dumped like 48 grand into that car.
Wow.
That's still not done. It still needs to be painted.
Jeez.
But
this hobby was expensive, eh?
Yeah. Yeah, you want something that's more expensive than Warhammer, go build a car.
Yeah. I think I'll just stick to the epic stuff, mate. I think I'll just stick to this. Stick what I know. Stick with what I know, basically.
I was thinking about digging out some of my old epic minis and like I could repaint them, just the old Space Marines.
Yeah, why not? It's a nice break from the other stuff.
Oh, for me, I'll do the complete psychopath level of like making sure everything's like painted to like the extremes that I do for 40K miniatures.
Yeah, you can do that, and it looks really lovely when you put all that effort into it. That's for sure.
It's fun. It's a challenge.
And,
it's the nice thing about painting is like the thing with my entire life is I don't do something unless it's a challenge. So because I like learning new things, like just like learning new things about my crafts and whatnot. Whatever skill I have, it's pushing myself as an artist is just a lot of fun.
Yep. To be good at something, got to push yourself.
Yep.
So
a lot of people are like, how can you sit there for like 80 odd hours and paint one miniature? Yes. It's my jive. Oh, I meant to ask you, what paints do you use?
Primarily Vallejo, but I'm using these TT Combat paints now as well, which are quite nice too. I quite like them.
Oh, okay.
They're pretty good. Yeah.
Are you using both like game color and model color, or just kind of model color?
Bit of both, mate. Yeah. So
okay.
I use the game color for that vibrant satin finish, and then the model color for a lot of other colors. The model game color don't cover. So I really like the model color for those particular hues of paint.
Yeah, I find I found the model color to be, I don't have any game colors, I never picked any up, but the model color, I find it really akin to like 80s and 90s Citadel paints.
Yep.
Like that old formulation.
They make some good paint. They make the best paint, I think, anyway. But then I'm sort of, got quite a very narrow range and experience with paints. I made the switch from Citadel to Vallejo way back in mid 2000s.
Oh wow!
Like 2005, 2000. When I first found out about them and found them in Australia, I bought a whole stack of them, and I just never looked back. So,
nice.
And I just find them just to be far superior than the Citadel paints at the time.
And, the current Citadel paints are we don't get along. I like their contrast and their metallic still, but the layer paints, I'm just like whatever medium, acrylic medium they're using in them now, it's really weird. It's like it's really gel like.
Right. Well, the one experience I had with Citadel paints was very bad because they basically dried before I even got to the end of the pot, and I just threw them out. And I didn't even use. But I got the airbrush one, which is really nice, and I've got one contrast paint, which is fine. I mean, I think the contrast paints they do good, but the price of them is so expensive that they sort of outprice themselves for me. So
the only other paint line that's more expensive is Two Thin Coats.
Yeah, I saw they're pretty expensive too. Yeah,
they're actually really good paints, though.
Yeah, I believe they would be, mate. Yep. Duncan does a good job.
I've got I don't know, about 10 or 15 of his colors, and they're actually really easy to use. They take water insanely well. They tend not to separate at all. It's kind of nice.
Right. Nice. Yeah, I'm going to have Duncan on the show at one point. I just wanted to use his paints and try them out first.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to get experience with his paint range and paint line before I chat with him. But he's really nice to talk to. Like, he'll actually message me back and say, "Oh yeah, I've been listening to your the deep dives on your podcast because I'm getting back into the Middle Hammer stuff," and it's really nice. It's not like I'm talking to some kind of representative that it's like his PR. It's like him actually taking the time to send me a message, which I think is really lovely of him to do that.
I've heard he's like a super nice guy.
Yeah, I think he is, man. I think he's genuinely a good guy,
Like, really approachable, really easy to talk to, like is always willing to help out.
Yep, that's good. Yeah, well, he's got a big following. I saw his Rackham miniature that he painted. I was curious about that. And he makes some good videos. I mean, he's the best out there in terms of painting tutorials. I mean, he's the man.
I recommended my gals get into painting, and like I kind of have a hard time teaching her because she's just starting out, and it's really I forgot how difficult it is to teach somebody when they're at like ground zero. And I've been sending her like different gals that paint on. I find that on Instagram. She likes to follow girl painters, and we were talking last night. I was like, "Oh yeah, I totally forgot. You totally need to like check out Duncan Rhodes' videos. He's like one of the best tutors or mentors for people who are just starting out. Everything he does is, like nicely detailed, really easy to follow. He's insanely encouraging in his videos.
Yeah, he's a good guy, Duncan. So, girl painters. My favorite out there is Gobbo Girl.
Oh, I'm having her on the show, I think, in like June.
Oh, great. Okay.
Yeah.
I have to get in touch with her because I know I was going to try to interview her. I had her on the show on my podcast before, but I want to get her and her husband on, Chris, to talk about something they're working on. And we talked about it, I don't know, maybe in January or something. I just haven't got it back to her, so that reminds me I need to get in touch with her, mate, as well.
Okay.
And get it back on again.
Yeah, I like her stuff. She's really good.
Oh, yeah. She's really good, and her husband's a fantastic painter, too.
I think I found her through her husband because, like, she painted up a couple of the old Space Hulk Terminators, didn't she?
Let's see. She's done a lot of orcs. Yeah, a lot of orc stuff.
Yeah, I like her style of painting orcs, and I sent it to my gal because she loves orcs and squigs. So
cool. Yeah. No, she's a really nice, real lovely lady too. Really nice person. So you're primarily Pro Acryl, mate, now?
No, I use Pro Acryl, Citadel, Vallejo, and AK.
Okay.
Oh, and Two Thin Coats.
And Two Thin Coats, right.
Yeah, I use a variety of stuff. Like I said earlier, with the whites that I do, I use Vallejo white and Pro Acryl white, but they both have two different applications for different things. Mm-hmm. Like Vallejo is really good for, like, in my Blood Angel tutorial video. Vallejo is really good for undercoating white or red with to fix errors. Whereas Pro Acryl white, with the way that I layer my highlighting, it thins out really well and it glazes really well.
Mm-hmm.
So, like the biggest recommendation I can say to anybody for paints is like experiment, try all kinds of different paints, because you might find one color that works better for a certain application over another one or a different brand. There is no one paint that's like the ultimate paint. All of them have their ups and downs, and they all have different applications, which I again think is really cool because we have such variety now.
Yeah. Oh, mate. Every time I look around, there's a new bloody paint range being released.
Right? I'm glad I'm not the only one.
And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to interview someone like Duncan to say, what drove you to the point of making a new paint range? Like, what is it about that, we need a new paint range, and was, like, obviously the investment was worth it because, the Kickstarters were really successful.
Yeah.
Loads of people bought his first 2-3 waves of paints and stuff like that. And, what drives a person to make their own paint formulas and paint range? I'm sort of curious about that, that angle of it.
Usually it's like with like Pro Acryl, the guy who started Pro Acryl, he's based out of Arizona, over in Phoenix, Arizona. And he started Pro Acryl and made his own paints because he didn't like anything that was on the market. He wanted something that worked for him the way he liked to paint. So I'm guessing Duncan probably did the same thing.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, it's a great way of getting your name out there.
Yeah. Oh, and if anybody watching is curious, Tooth and Coats makes a perfect replica of Goblin Green as well. It's called Goblinoid Green.
Yes. Yeah, I did see that. It looks beautiful, actually. Does look very nice.
I dug out some of my Go ahead.
I was going to say that the new Vallejo game color Goblin Green is absolutely perfect. I mean, I can't find that's for me. That's the ultimate Goblin Green for me. If you've never tried it,
They're doing a Goblin Green now.
Oh, they've always done a Goblin Green.
Okay.
But the old one was kind of more of a glossy, satin finished one, more vibrant green. This one's more of a subdued matte green, and it just looks perfect. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, that's for my tastes. I think it's the ultimate Goblin Green. So, which is highly contested, I know.
Well, like I was saying earlier, it's nice to have such variety. You can get the same color from different lines, and they act, their behavior is different, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting really big on AK stuff because all of it dries in a matte finish, which is really nice. Yeah,
that's nice. Yep, I like the Vallejo model color for that reason too. That matte finish.
Most of my Vallejo model color is the old formula.
Yeah. Oh, have you tried the new pots yet at all, then? And the new Vallejo pots?
I bought one. Oh, I gave it to my buddy. I bought a what is this? Flat red. I bought it for a friend of mine. I hadn't tried it yet, but it's. Right. I like how the new dropper bottles. I like how they're clear.
Yes. Yep.
That's my biggest complaint about like Pro Acryl and AK is. Oh, I think AKs are clear, but Pro Acryl and Tooth and Coats, they use frosted bottles, so you can't tell exactly what the color is. At least with Tooth and Coats, you can take the lid off and dot your hand with it to see the exact color. Where Pro Acryl, they seal the inside. You have to take the dropper nozzle off and pull a piece of styrofoam off, so you can't test their colors. Coincidentally, I was testing colors at my local one day, and the paint was still wet, and I left the shop and I touched my steering wheel, so I have this blue dot right in the middle of the top of my steering wheel. It's like perfectly centered too, which is great.
JVC James, I still rock the Americana craft paints for minis and Tamiya for the airbrush. There you go, mate.
I've never tried Tamiya. Like, is it water based or?
Yeah, you can get two different types. You can get the water based ones, which stink. I mean, I think they're the same formula they used when I was a kid, when I was growing up. Like, I am tempted about getting the smoke. Like that sort of. It's like a tint, smoke tint. for doing metallics and everything. I want to pick that up because in Japan, I mean, you just go to the hobby store and you've got entire racks of this stuff,
Oh, I'm sure.
So I'm tempted to try that as just to experiment with it because I'm not really happy with a black wash for metallics at the moment. So I want to try that smoke.
How much are they? Like 600 or 700 yen a bottle?
They're not that cheap, but they're not that far off it, mate. They're pretty cheap, actually. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So.
Yeah, it's kind of nice. I wish I was still kind of buying car parts more often from Japan, but because the yen is so weak against the dollar, I think it's like, what is it, 68 cents there, or 68
like
yen, to like every dollar or something like that.
Yeah.
Or 68 cents to every 100 yen. I forgot what it is, but yeah, it's pretty low right now. Like I said, I wish I was still on buying car stuff because I'd be like all over the place. But I'm tempted to start going back onto Yahoo auctions and buying more video games.
Yeah, what kind of video games you playing?
It's not for playing. I like collecting like old stuff from like the Famicom and the Super Famicom. Before COVID started, I picked up a new in-box Super Famicom, new in-box Street Fighter 2, Street Fighter 2 Turbo, Street Fighter 2 New Challengers, Chrono Trigger, and Super Metroid. And I mean, I was paying like $5-10 a game. And I think the new in-box Super Famicom was $60 or $70. I mean, it literally was brand new in box. So I've got all that stuck away in my closet. And I have like a bunch of 90s US based games. I've got Super Metroid still complete in box, Chrono Trigger still complete in box. I check on eBay every so often to see how much they're worth, and they're getting really far up there. As far as what I like to play, I'm big. I like a lot of Metroidvanias, especially Axiom Verge. I don't know if you've ever tried that one or not.
No, I don't think so, mate.
It's Axiom Verge. It's made by one guy. He used to live here in Vegas. He moved out to California, but it's made by one guy. His name's Thomas Happ, and it not only is it like a great game, but the music is just insanely good. The lore in the game is, if you get into the lore side, you start learning about the theory of multiple timelines and the multi-world theory. The lore is what really got me stuck into the game, and it's really good. It's a lot of deep thought. Basically, it makes you really consider the way that reality works, which is a lot of fun.
Which game system is that for? Sorry.
Like everything. You can get on PC. You can get it on Nintendo Switch, PlayStation, Xbox. It's like I think it's like both games are like $10 in it right now.
Oh, okay.
And another one, I've sunk like 300 hours into that stupid game. Another game I'm really big on is called Vampire Survivors. If you grew up in the Nintendo and Super Nintendo era, it will be your jam. Basically, it's like Castlevania meets Smash TV.
Okay.
And it's $4.
Well, I found a channel just by accident on YouTube. An old guy called Kev, lovely old bloke. He was retired, and he's been collecting games for years and years and years now. And he's got his own place, and he's got his own displays of all these games. He's got thousands of them.
Wow.
Of PS2, PS1, PS3, Xbox 360. Now getting to PS4 and PS5 games. But yeah, really interesting guy, and he talks about his collections and stuff he's got. And he bought these Fortnite. Fortnite. I've never played it, but obviously it's a massive game out there for kids who play it. And of course, it's like a free downloadable game. You can just download for free on your PlayStation or Nintendo Switch or whatever. He bought the physical copies when they were like no one wanted them back in the day, like 2017 or something like that. And now they're worth £800 for a sealed copy. Yeah, he sold a couple.
Wow.
Because he's got about 5 or 6 of them. He sold 2, and then to a collector, and now he bought himself a PS5 and all these games and stuff like that. I thought, man, if anybody's got a sealed copy of a Fortnite game, you're
Hang on to
sitting
that bad
on
boy.
a little gold mine. Yeah, wow. It's really interesting how that's kind of become a collectible thing, and I didn't really consider it, and it gave me appreciation for the actual disc games rather than all the downloadable games, because I like the feeling of putting a disc in the drive and all that kind of stuff.
There's something to be said definitely about physical media that just it doesn't really exist anymore, and I feel bad for kids now because they don't have that sense of like getting a new CD and opening up taking out the insert and looking at the album artwork and all the lyrics and the physicality of it.
Yeah.
Or having the actual physical media. Yeah. My gal's son, he's really big on, he likes to collect vinyl, which is kind of neat. I still got like 300 or 400 records left in my closet from when I used to DJ at raves.
Right.
Like back in the late 90s and early 2000s. Lots of awesome old like happy hardcore and speed garage and house music.
Yeah, that was a big thing back in the UK when I was there.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah. Holy dooly! Amazing, I survived that time. Actually, I'm
kind of amazed what you can put your body through. When you're young.
When I was 20, yeah, I could do lots of different things. And
sitting back in your 40s and your 50s, you're like, God damn, how did I do all that, man?
Yeah, I think I'd be dead now. I don't think I've got the stamina like Keith Richards or something like that.
Right.
To get me through it. Yeah. Or Ozzy Osbourne or whatever. But yeah, man, that was a pretty awesome time then, actually, the 90s. When I thought about it too the other day, I thought, shit, we lived in a really good time in the 80s and 90s.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they were the best times to live, I think, compared to now.
I mean, I know a lot of people like my parents used to say the 60s and the 70s are the best era and whatnot, but I genuinely think the 90s was the best because it was the transition from analog to digital.
Yeah.
And like the way that we see technology and appreciate it and respect it, like a lot of I'm not trying to be an old man yelling at clouds, but the way the younger people see technology is a very different light than us. It's so commonplace for them because it's been around, ever since they were born. Whereas like all this stuff, like we grew into it, we remember the whole rotary phone thing and, cassette decks and CD players and the first iPods that came out.
Yeah.
Hell, the first iPhones. Ooh.
Yeah. iPods are massive. I still remember my first iPod. Wow. That was kind of revolutionary.
Oh yeah. The first gen had a spinning hard drive in it, and you could just hook it up to a PC and it would mount as a hard drive. It was great.
Yeah, I think we're in good company here. I think a lot of people think the 80s or the 90s were the best time to be alive.
Yeah.
And yeah, for sure, mate.
Well, I think we were the last generation to have the last original genre of music, which is techno and electronica. There has not been a new genre of music that has come out ever since. Everything's been a subgenre.
Oh, right.
Because basically techno music was invented by using electronic instruments to make music with.
Sure, yeah. Huh.
I meant to ask, do you use a wet palette or do you use a dry palette?
Yeah, I got my wet palette, mate. My XL Red Grass Games one.
I think I'm like the last person on the planet using a dry palette.
No, but it's actually more common than you think. I was kind of surprised about that too, how many people use a dry palette. So, yeah, mate, you're not alone. There's lots of people
good.
who do it.
Yeah, a lot of people ask me how to use a dry palette. I'm just like, it's just what I grew up using. Well, like, do you use water? Absolutely. I can't use a wet palette. I made one and I just could not get used to it. It felt like it drove me nuts. I couldn't wick on the palette. I had to use like a paper towel to wick on.
Yeah, mate, you're not alone. There's a lot of people who use like wet palettes and stuff dry palette. Yeah, no, that's totally. Yeah, one of my favorite painters of all time, Martin. He used Yeah, that's it, mate. Yeah.
The piece of glass I've had for like over 20
Yeah.
years.
Yep, that's doesn't whatever you use, dry palette, wet palette doesn't mean you're going to be, it doesn't matter. It doesn't change the
Yeah.
painter. It just whatever you feel comfortable about using. But yeah, I was so blown away by looking at like one of my favorite painters and like seeing that what he was painting on. I was like, wow, like two of them, like Angel Heraldez and Martin, and the stuff they were using was like mind blowing. I think, how the hell can you paint so well using that? But it's just whatever they're comfortable with.
Yeah,
they don't like wet palettes for that reason.
Yeah, once you get into kind of using your tool set, it's kind of hard to change, or you just get really comfortable with it.
Yeah. Some people are a little sort of evangelical about it and that kind of thing, but I'm like, whatever suits. I can't go back. I've used wet palettes now for over a decade. I can't go back to dry palettes because that's just the way I am.
Yeah, when I left painting, there was like nobody was using wet palettes. It came up in like my 12-year hiatus. So I was like, when did you notice it becoming prevalent?
So I'm just trying to think. I know that I went into my store, my game store, and they had the Privateer Press wet palette, and I think the guy who was running the store was using it, and then I was like kind of curious because I heard something about it probably from YouTube or something about it, and I thought I'd give it a shot. And ever since then, I've just never looked back. It was kind of like a revolutionary thing because basically, I mean, apart from the way that the paints, now there's certain good palettes and wet palette and bad wet palettes, and I think you've got to find because sometimes the wet palettes, and depending what kind of sponge and paper you use, you can leave your paint overnight, open up the lid, and you find that all the paints have all disintegrated, basically got so wet they've all melded into each other to make this kind of horrible painting, abstract painting. So you got to work out what's the right kind of level of water and the moisture you keep in there, not too much, not too little, and just find that happy balance. So you still got fresh paint there, you still got fresh mixes, that when you open the palette, everything's fine and everything can be worked with. And I just use some cheap paper I got from the dollar store that literally costs $1, and I don't use any of that fancy paper they have for sale. I just buy the cheap stuff, and it works perfectly. It's like a silicone paper, cooking sheet paper, and that works a charm. And I just buy the sponges from them because I think the sponges are really, really nice. I think a good sponge makes a difference. But I've seen people use like stuff they bought from a dollar store, from the tray to the sponge to the paper, and it works fine. So you can make your own, like a lightsaber, like Luke Skywalker making his own lightsaber, to become a Jedi. You can make your own wet palette.
Oh, there you go. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go with some more tea, and I gotta hit the head. Ugh.
Yeah, it's fine, mate, no problem. I might go and check the comments in a second. I hope to finish this last Land Raider before we finish up today. I don't know what time it is or how long we've been doing this for. Let's have a quick look. An hour 38 minutes. Okay, that's not too bad. Let's see. What have we got here for comments? We've got a few people here. Got an 18-year-old Accord. Do I count as a Japanese-minded petrol head? Yeah, Honda Accord, mate. Did I have a Honda Accord? Honda Civic. I drive Hondas now, actually. I really love Honda. And I do miss my Honda Insight. I think it's one of the most beautifully designed cars. I like the design of cars. I'm not really into cars so much, but I like the design aesthetics of them. My mate used to work for a highway police cleanup and said the amount of young ones that crash modded cars but hadn't told the insurance company, so just got base value on car for scrap. Yeah, mate. Your premiums go up when you start modding them, that's for sure. He said one kid said he sunk 20k into the car. Yeah, it can be a bit of an addiction, can't it? I think, for people. And got £350 for scrap. Wow, okay. or good exchange. Been really liking use Pro Acryl and some of the War Paint Fanatic stuff lately, but the Pro Acryl suits my love of just mixing stuff as I go. Yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about Pro Acryl, so I'll need to try it out one day, mate, and give it a go. Then you find that Color Paint and Proxy Company discontinues it. Yeah, I know. It's they did that with some of the Vallejo stuff when they changed to the new pots. They got rid of some of the really good stuff, as I think we talked about, the heavy opaque line. They got rid of that, which is a real shame. I painted with enamels for 35 years. All the acrylics seem amazing to me. Water for clean brushes and thinning. Yep, absolutely, mate. I think when you make that transition, you never go back. And ability time to 10 times faster because the drying time is so much quicker. Sewing the type with modeled clay coated fingers. Yeah, you better keep that PC keep going, mate, because I know it's kind of old and rusty now, your PC, so you got to keep it alive. The real Goblin game was the goblins we painted along the way. Yeah, true. Yeah, so we've got the Americana paints. Bleatron says Vampire Survivors has a fantastic bestiary you can read in game about all the monsters in it. More games need that. Yeah. I hear Oblivion's going really well too, the remaster of Oblivion. I can't believe that's 20 years old. My sister actually completed that game. I never did, but my sister played it all the way to the end. So I wonder if my sister's bought that remastered version of it. I have to check with her. I have a sealed Space Hulk box. Lucky you, Sci-Fi. So time for an unboxing, mate. Which version of it? Sealed Tabletop. I have the MS, docs, PC, CDs in the loft, but pretty sure they can be got from Good Old Games. Yeah, Good Old Games is a great website to find all those old classic games. Now, 90s were the best. Emperor Jim. Yep, I totally agree, mate. I think for me, I think 80s and 90s. I think they're talking about the second is open, third one, the Blood Angel sculpts is sealed. Okay. I made my wet palette out of a sandwich box, airtight and cleaning sheet sponge and good quality baking paper. Yep, that's all you need to make your own wet palette. And you can do it for like a couple of bucks, $3. You know, you've got a wet palette. All right, so thanks for guys hanging in there with our paint chat today. Hope you guys are keeping yourself entertained and painting away. I'll have to check my phone here. 6:44. Oh, okay. Hertian messaged me to say congrats on your 5-year anniversary. Yeah, thanks, mate. Appreciate it. Yeah, we're going to release that. I'll release that episode maybe today. The 5-year anniversary. It's on Patreon now, but I'll release it today for people on the Crown of Command podcast to check out that. It's a really nice episode, actually. I really enjoyed doing that with my good friend Owen Staten. Put that one together for you guys. So I hope you enjoy it. Okay, one more row of stripes and then we can do all the cleanup in a minute.
Oh. Wait. Oh. Oh, I meant to check the chat room.
I just went through it all, mate. I just went through it all. So have a look. See if there's anything there. He's gone again. Okay.
Sci-Fi 72 asks, "What music do you like listening to when painting alone, or is it podcast?"
Oh, good idea.
I actually I turn on the Mystery Science Theater Forever-a-thon.
Mystery Science Theater, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. On the channel on YouTube, they have Forever-a-thons that they run.
Ah, right.
So I like when I was young. Oh yeah, my mic's over here. Whoops. When I was younger, I I didn't have cable, so I couldn't get Mystery Science Theater. And then like one of the local stations started playing the Mystery Science Theater hour at like 1 a.m. on Saturdays. And I like flipped out. I started recording them on, VHS, when they play them. So when I was a kid, I had, I don't know, like 3 or 4 VHSs full of Mystery Science Theater that I'd recorded. And I always had that on in the background. And then I discovered the Forever-a-thon, I don't know, about a year and a half ago. And I got to go back to being a kid again, listening to Mystery Science Theater while painting Warhammer stuff. And it's like the most relaxing thing ever.
Right. Okay. What does it actually play then? What kind of things do you watch on it? I haven't heard of
Mystery Science Theater?
Yeah.
Do you know what that is?
No.
Oh, were you ever flipping through stations and you see like a black and white movie playing and there was like little theater seats in the front with 2 robots and a guy talking about the movie?
No.
Wow. Oh, it was like a staple show of the 90s. It's a really funny show. It's I'll send you a link here. I'll just send it to you right now so you can watch it if you ever want to.
All right. Yeah. I'll give it a look, mate. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Okay.
Crown Command, there you are. Paste.
Oh, bugger. Did I screw this up again?
Yeah.
Oh, geez. These stripes are just doing my head in. That's going that way. That's going that way. That's going that way. Okay. Keep these stripes in line. I'll have to fix it up.
Bleentron says Vampire Survivors has a fantastic bestiary you can read in-game about all the monsters in it. More games need that. I love how silly they got with the bestiary for some of them too. And Sci-Fi 72 says I have a sealed Space Hulk box. Which edition? Or are you talking about the actual PC game?
Yeah, I think they're discussing it in later in the chat, mate. To just scroll down and have a look.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, got it.
Yeah.
Oh, he also says second edition is open, third is sealed. I've got second edition. That's the one I played with and still play with. And then I bought third edition. I pre-ordered it when it came out. And I took the cellophane off and opened it up. Was like, this is so cool. And then put the lid back on and it's been sitting in a box ever since.
I've got to say, I love the second edition of Space Hulk, actually. Really like it a lot.
Yeah. Oh, I played the hell out of it.
Yeah, got to thank Chris, my good mate Chris, for playing that with me for many times on Discord. Really enjoyed it. Never got to play it back in the day, but now I've got to experience it, and I really like how the heavy flamer works. I think that's brilliant, that heavy flamer.
Yeah, Space Hulk is awesome because it's such a simple rule set. Like you play one game of Space Hulk and you know how to play the entire game.
Yeah. I need to go and ask Chris to get that back on our schedule for Space Hulk. Give it another go. I do miss it.
It kind of sucks with like second and third edition. Fourth edition is the same as third, but they never. Games Workshop didn't expand on it like they did with first edition.
Yeah.
With first edition, you had the Deathwing and Gene Stealer box sets. They were constantly putting out new rules and new missions in White Dwarf.
Yeah.
And they just never supported any other edition like that after again. Oh. Okay, back at the lay desk. Excuse me.
You're all right. Well said. I'd like to try the Aliens game. Okay, what's that? Aliens, the new Aliens game? Or
oh yeah, they made a tabletop game out of the Aliens universe.
Oh right.
What's his name? I think MS Paints did a whole episode on it.
Okay.
God, I love that guy's videos. He's such a great cinematographer.
MS Paints. I don't think I've watched his videos yet. I'll have to check it out.
Oh, he's such a super guy. He's a British dude. He's just he does.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's a Rastafarian looking dude.
Yeah.
Rastafarian guy? Okay.
Yeah, he's got like dreadlocks and he wears a beanie a lot. Just super cool guy. And like I said, his cinematography and his videos is just, it's so good. Dude's really into cameras and videos. So like he really goes the extra mile for his videos.
Yep, that's what you need, mate. That's what you need to become successful, I think. You need that. And a presence, good presence. So I like the Brits. I do enjoy watching the Brits on YouTube, so I'll give him a look. Yeah.
Oh, I need to email him and see if he wants to come on my show. I've been trying to get I've been trying to get a lot of the YouTubers that inspired me to get back into painting on my show. I've been like, I need to like I want to get Louise on. I'd love to get Chris from MS Paints on. You know, I saw your stuff on Instagram for a long time. You're painting. So I'll definitely having you on in June. God, who else do I want to have come on?
Get Deets, mate. From
I've been talking to Deets. We've been trying to. I think we've been trying to work something out.
Yep, cool. That's good.
The only bad thing about like doing interviews with people over in the UK is I normally have to do them at like 12 in the morning.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah, I normally don't get to sleep until like 4 a.m.
Yeah, that's why I wake up at really early to do these, because most of the UK viewers can watch it, and then I'll alternate to doing it later, the next one, so I can have a drink, and then they have to get it. Yeah, that's then their morning, so it's not too bad. It's just for the US guys, it's a bit bit of a problem.
I've got a buddy of mine, Steve K. He's him and I compete in Olden Demon a lot, and he was one of the first guys I started talking to on Instagram. I've been trying to get him on. He was supposed to come on last week, but he had to reschedule. But guy is an amazing painter.
Is it the guy who did the Karn effects?
Yes.
Yeah, he was awesome. I really like that a lot. Yeah, he's really good.
Yeah, he did it's called a Lictor, I think. He did one of those this year's Olden Demon.
Very, 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 very good. Yeah, very.
Yeah, that dude, he's spot on with his Oldhammer stuff.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely. He nailed it. He nailed it with those that Lictor. I think he did the Karn effects too, and I think he was in my top picks. What I did with Deets with the Olden Demon coverage we did for a live stream here. He was in my top three, I think.
Yeah, and he's just a super guy to talk to. He's really enthusiastic and he loves what he does. So it's always great to chat with him.
I still need to start my Olden Demon entry. I haven't started yet, so I better get onto that.
But you only got like another 2.5 weeks.
Yeah, no, I should really start what I finished. Well, sorry, finish what I started. Probably get that around the right way. But for the very first one, I never got done, so I should really drag him out and paint him up. So.
Oh, was it for last year?
No, the very first one I never got to finish it, and it's the Nagash model that I got here.
Oh God!
And it's just been sitting in a tray ever since. Never got around to finishing it. So I should really do that and get it done.
Get it done.
Yep, get it done.
The guest that I had on Thursday, Wednesday night, like Thursday morning, whatever. But yeah, he had a term for instead of the pile of shame, it's the pile of opportunity. I really like that. It's neat.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it.
Fun little play on words.
Yeah.
I was diagnosed with autism a couple of years ago, and I now it helped me understand a lot more about my life. But one of the things that I kind of like to hyper focus on is the creative use of like language, especially like the English language. Mm-hmm. And like when I was doing my band thing with my best friend, I loved writing lyrics and just getting creative with the English language as far as my lyrics went. Like one of my favorite lyrics I ever wrote was "stirring my soul with her middle finger."
You could add Splatter Natter in there too, mate, in your lyrics if you can. For me.
I actually really like the name of your show. I forgot it was Splatter Natter. I just kept calling it a Painter Podcast, and I saw it come out. I was like, that is such a fun name.
Yeah, I like to play with words too if I can. It's nice to do that.
How'd you come up with that?
I don't know. It's just out of my weird mind, mate.
Oh, okay.
The weird brain that I have.
I wouldn't call that weird at all. I call it extremely creative.
Well, you got to splatter the paint and Natter. Well, Natter comes from the Mel Bose's show. He does a Natter, like these Saturday night Natters or whatever. He doesn't do them anymore, unfortunately. They were really good.
Oh, okay.
But I thought Natter, that's a cool word. I think that's a British word, Natter. So I have a bit of a Natter. So yeah, splatter Natter. I think it worked out well.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Sort of stuck. Yeah, sort of stuck.
It's kind of funny how things like that happen.
Yeah.
Like sometimes just some of the silliest stuff is in what ends up sticking and works really well.
Yeah.
Like my whole thing with Grimbright, there's a gal that I follow. She's a buddy of mine. She's an insanely good painter. I forgot her screen name on Instagram, but her name's Peta, and she's actually over in Australia. But she's the one who I got Grimbright from. And I thought it was such a neat little thing. And I asked her, I was like, "Can I use this?" And she's like, "Yeah, I don't care." So I just started going full ham with it and use it for pretty much everything relating to like 90s painting.
Okay, I'm familiar with her work. Yeah, I think she works at a store or something, doesn't she? Like a game store in Brisbane, and she paints miniatures for them or something, I think.
Oh, I didn't know she actually worked at a game store.
Yeah, I think she mentioned that in one of her posts. But yeah, really, really nice, beautifully bright coloured paint jobs and stuff.
Yeah,
the miniatures. I think she did like a Mayonnaise Calgar recently.
She just finished up, I think, a Lionel Johnson.
Oh, Lionel Johnson, was it? Okay. Yeah. Look, I always champion Instagram because I found so many great people out there that do Oldhammer.
Yeah.
And Herohammer and incredible painters, like just so inspirational. So I've found more people on there than any other kind of social media.
Yeah, that's one thing. Like I was talking to Ray from Beldalore on my show about that. Like it's neat. I like Instagram is such a great hub for miniature painting and for people who are into the hobby because it suits the hobby so perfectly.
Yeah, it does. I mean, I found a person out of the blue that does these incredible Road Trader orc paint jobs and banners, which just blow my mind. Like, I've never seen anybody do banners so well, and I just keep discovering people. Always people come up saying, you know, they're following me or to follow this person. I look at their profile, look at their stuff, and I think, wow, this is amazing.
Yeah.
And I found a guy who does I forget who's, and that's the other problem. I forget their names because there's so many of them. They're so numerous. But there's a person who does just Nippon Citadel miniatures, like just the feudal Japan era, like really early Perry miniatures, but beautifully painted on these incredible scenic bases. And he did one. He's in the States, I believe, and he painted an entire Nippon army for the old world, but using all the original miniatures from Citadel, and they were just it was just incredible. And
that's
he
neat.
did the terrain. Oh yeah, mate, it's just, and I find it just more and more every time I go through Instagram and I discover someone else. I just find these are most amazing, creative artists on there. And it's just an inspiration, if anything, you know. But there's so much on there that I feel that it's still a lot that's just untapped, you know.
Yeah, I started
Oriental Heroes. Thank you, Oriental. Sorry, mate. Oriental Heroes from Adfmac. So thank you very much for bringing that one up. Yeah, it's brilliant. Check out their Instagram. You'll be absolutely amazed how good this person is.
I started my whole podcast idea like literally the year I got back into painting. It just took me a while to get it going, but like I remember growing up here in Vegas. It was always so hard to find other people who painted, like, and this is back, you know, in the 90s when, you know, Warhammer was still really like an underground and niche thing. And I started the podcast because I just wanted to talk to other painters. And just the sheer level of just awesome people that I've gotten to meet and chat with on Instagram is, I never thought like in a million years, you know, when I was young, I'd find some kind of outlet or depot for this kind of thing, like Instagram has created. And, you know, it's so neat talking to other people because everybody brings something so creative and fun to the table. Like no two people's miniatures are alike. And that's just, it's so freaking cool.
that's what I like too. I like to find people who have very unique styles, and I think that's something that doesn't get highlighted enough. I think because people just think, okay, it's painted, it's just painted. But if you really look at it, I think people really develop their own style, and I think that's really nice to see. And then maybe you don't see it yourself, but other people see it. I think that's interesting too, because I always look at that comparatively between people, and I think, wow, there's this person, he or she is a really good painter, but they have a certain style that the other painters are completely different. And I find if you can find someone who hones into something and they really make it their own, I think it's really nice. And it becomes very subjective, but I think it's I like having different takes on people's painting and however they approach it and however they get their results.
Me, like I like seeing like the modern grimdark stuff, just the modern heavy metal style painting. It's so different than what we grew up with. Yeah. But like I've thought about attempting it a few times, but I've just been so stuck in my my Grimbright ways, and now that I'm like seeing a lot more success with my painting than I ever have in my life, I just enjoy building on that so much, because you can take inspiration from different painting styles that are completely opposite of your own and actually incorporate it into your own. And it's such a neat thing to be able to do. And I don't care if anybody hates Grimbright or thinks it's weird. I love it.
Yeah, it's good, mate. It's good to have like that sort of different takes on how to approach painting miniatures, and whatever's your thing that you like to do, go do it. And I
think that like one of the coolest parts about like the the Instagram community of painters and stuff like that is just I've had people DM me and tell me that like I've inspired them or helped them with their painting in some way, and that just feels really good.
Yeah,
like knowing that you brighten somebody's day.
Absolutely. No, that's really nice. If people can feel inspired by what you do, that's really great.
Yeah,
something positive, and as long as it's positive, then that's the best way of doing it, mate. But look, mate, we're gonna have to wrap it up today because it's Mother's Day. My wife's up. And I want to go down and say Happy Mother's Day and give her a hug and a kiss if she wants one.
Okay.
And and call it there. So thank you so much again, Len, for coming on. I really
thank you for having me. It's a real honor to do this.
And I'll look forward to coming to talk with you, mate, in the future on your Old Grumpy Wolf channel. So go and check that out. I've talked about that before at the start of the show. So check out the links here in our YouTube video here, our Splatter Natter, to check out Leonard's channels on both on Instagram and on YouTube. And be ready for some great interviews with 80 Wood and the legend Tim Prow as well. That's coming up soon. And but until then, guys, you guys enjoy your painting. Don't forget Mother's Day, otherwise you get a clip around the ear from the wife and your mother. both ears will be sore by the end of the day. And thanks again, Len, for your time, mate. I appreciate it.
Cheers.
And we'll catch up again soon, mate. Okay, you enjoyed painting your orcs, mate, today. All right.
Cheers, man. Talk to you in a bit.
Okay, take care. Bye-bye.